Ho, ho, ho! It is me, the obscurist tourist. And guess what? My favorite time of the year is right around the corner, and perhaps it is yours as well. I'm talking about Christmas, of course, only the jolliest time of the year. And one of my favorite things to do during the holiday season is to leaf through old DVDs or even just switch on the television and rewatch some old Christmas classics. One of my favorites of all time, absolute bar none favorite, is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yes, the animated classic first aired in 1964. It doesn't seem to matter how many times I watch this. It just, for some reason, I always seem to notice something new about it. Some little factoid or some little detail that I missed the previous 100 times that I watched it. So without further ado, let's dive into 25 interesting facts you may not have known about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the beautiful, whimsical Christmas classic. Now, as I said before, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer first aired in 1964, December 6th to be exact. But did you know that it is now the longest-running Christmas special of all time? And if you do the math, as of 2022, that means it has been airing every single year for 58 years. The animation in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is actually called Animagic, and it was handled by Japanese animators, taking 18 months to produce just 30 minutes of animation. Again, if you do the math, 24 months to create 44 minutes of this Christmas classic. Rudolph's red nose was originally created using a 12-volt light bulb painted red. And if you wondered how many times Rudolph's nose actually glows in the special, well, 33 times, 33 separate scenes, his nose lights up. Now, before they settled on the name Rudolph for the reindeer, there were actually two other names that were shortlisted, and that was Reginald and Rollo. But they ultimately settled on Rudolph. Reginald was deemed too British, and Rollo was deemed too happy. And if you've ever wondered how many times they actually say the name Rudolph in the special, 48 times, an astounding 48 times in this special. Rudolph is actually voiced by a woman, Billie Mae Richards, who was 43 years old when she helped bring young Rudolph to life. Her name is actually misspelled as Billy with a Y in the end credits, and this is actually fitting considering that Rudolph was possibly Rudolphina. The reindeers that pull Santa's sleigh are always shown with antlers. This means they either have to be very young males constantly swapped out, or, in the case of our very distinctive and individual Rudolph, it would have to be female reindeers that don't shed their antlers at Christmas time. Sam the Snowman's watch never seems to change time. In fact, it doesn't change time. The entire special, it always reads 2 o'clock. Yukon Cornelius discovers the peppermint mine on his third prospecting attempt.
Who am I? The name's Yukon Cornelius.
Yukon Cornelius' sled is actually pulled by a poodle, a cocker spaniel, a Saint Bernard, a dachshund, and a collie. The song Silver and Gold was originally intended to be sung by Yukon Cornelius, voiced by Larry D. Mann, before Burl Ives was brought on board to play Sam the Snowman. All of the human characters in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer have 4 fingers. Weirdly, Santa's sleigh is pulled by just 7 reindeer at the end of the special, which is odd because Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer song references it being pulled by 9 reindeer. Though he appears quite large on screen, the Bumble figure stood 14 inches tall, while the Santa figurine stood at 8 inches, and Rudolph stood at 4 inches. In 2006, the original Rudolph and Santa figures were featured in an episode of Antiques Roadshow. Pre-renovation, they were valued at $8,000 to $10,000, but in 2020, after being restored, this duo sold for an astounding $368,000. The anonymous bidder then donated Santa and Rudolph to the Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta.
1964 is when the film was made, and it definitely has a warm spot in all of our hearts. Mm-hmm. So to actually meet them in person, it's really exciting. This is iconic, and it's on a very different level. It's not a toy, and everyone who's seen it has gotten a kick and recognized it instantly. So you're dealing with something magnificent here.
In the original that aired in 1964, Rudolph, Hermie, and Yukon Cornelius promised to return to visit Misfit Island. However, they never do. This set fans into an angry frenzy, and the studio responded to their bitter letters by changing the script. In 1965, the special added a new short scene at the very end of the show in which Santa and the reindeer deliver the Misfits to new homes. On the island of Misfit Toys, where odd and abandoned toys are exiled to, there is a rag doll named Dolly who seems perfectly normal. And fans, for many years, including myself, have always wondered what made her a misfit. In 2007, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer producer Arthur Rankin Jr. confirmed that Dolly's problem is actually psychological. She's depressed because her owner discarded her. Poor Dolly. The misfit bird who doesn't fly actually learns to fly. In the very last scene, he can be seen flying out of Santa's sleigh. There are 20 bells that make up Donner's Jingle Bells. Hermie is the only elf without pointed ears. There are 30 teeth in the abominable snow monster's mouth. Jon Favreau, the director of the 2003 film Elf, starring Will Ferrell, actually took different inspirations from Rudolph, most notably with Buddy the Elf's costume design. There are a total of 42 creatures featured in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 1 abominable snow monster, 1 fish, 2 rabbits, 2 raccoons, 2 owls, 2 squirrels, 3 birds, 3 polar bears, 3 seals, 5 dogs, and 18 reindeer. Whew. People in Finland know Rudolph as Petteri Hunakuono. Who knew? Not really a fact, but try saying abominable snow monster 5 times fast. I really hope you enjoyed this little video. Some fun facts about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am going to go rewatch this classic once again. For now, it is the Obscurist Tourist. Stay safe this holiday season, and until our next adventure, and stay beautiful. See you later.